RightShip was founded in 2001 in response to the Australian House of Representatives Standing Committee on Transport, Communications and Infrastructure's Ships of Shame. The company's goal is a maritime industry that causes zero harm. RightShip assesses the operational standards and level of safety on board vessels through inspections and vetting. This enables our clients to employ ships with the highest operational standards in the dry cargo industry. The RightShip inspection is one of our most important services that includes direct engagement with the crew as we assess vessel condition. To help ship owners and managers prepare their ships for an inspection, we've developed the RightShip Inspection Ship Questionnaire, RISQ, and a series of videos addressing common issues. We invite vessel management and their teams to watch the videos and contact RISQ at rightship.com with any questions. Owner's managers should start planning for an inspection at least 2 months before it is required under RightShip size age rules, or an existing inspection requires renewal. Dry cargo vessels over 14 years of age and over 8,000 deadweight, and all vessels over 25 years of age, irrespective of size, require a valid inspection for recommendation. Avoid arranging your inspection late. An invalid inspection will impact your vessel's safety score. Unforeseen circumstances may impede a scheduled inspection process and its completion, leading to potential postponements. For instance, weather conditions, storm, heavy seas, and swell at anchorage, transportation availability, port strikes, unavailable or defective service boat, high transportation costs, unsafe port, risk of kidnapping, violation, armed robbery, inspector availability, last-minute sickness, family sickness, are just a few of the factors that can prevent an inspection from occurring. How to apply for an inspection. Go to rightship.com and hover over Solutions at the top of the page. Under Ship Owners, click Inspections. Scroll down the page and click Request an Inspection. Take time to carefully complete the application form. You will be asked to provide specific details about the ship, its agent, and the billing address. Errors in the application form can result in delays or issues impacting the fulfillment of the inspection, so please check your answers carefully. If the type of ship or the operational variants relevant to that ship are incorrectly addressed in the application, inspectors will be using an incorrect inspection template. This is likely to affect the quality of the inspection and may compromise it completely. RightShip Ship Inspection Questionnaire, RISQ, provides 3 options for completing an inspection. The first method addresses all questions during a physical inspection. The second method is a hybrid method in which some questions regarding ship documentation will be answered based on a review of documentation provided by vessel managers at least 72 hours prior to a physical inspection, and the remaining questions will be answered during a subsequent shortened physical inspection of the vessel. This shortens inspection time by 2 to 3 hours. The third approach is a dual inspection, in which 2 inspectors are appointed and the questions are divided between them. The dual inspection reduces the duration of the inspection to about 7 hours. Inspectors, like the rest of us, want to be welcomed, respected, and given the opportunity to do their jobs effectively. We should all work together to ensure that the inspectors board the ship safely and complete the inspection in a professional manner. Simultaneously, our inspector will engage collaboratively with the master and ship crew to facilitate a valuable and seamless inspection process. When an inspector is assigned, The master should communicate with the inspector as soon as possible, providing them with all essential information and facilitating their inspector's safe boarding and departure. The master needs to reconfirm the ship's specific characteristics, such as whether it is geared, has a gantry crane, or can burn LNG as fuel. The master must also inform the inspector of what cargo the ship is carrying or intends to carry, whether it has been fumigated in its previous 3 voyages, and so on. Please provide the agent's information to the inspector as soon as it is confirmed, or connect the inspector to the agent and ensure that the agent provides all essential services to ensure a smooth boarding and disembarkation. Keep the inspector informed of the ship's schedule. Check with the inspector about which documents should be available for inspection. Please ensure all documents listed by RightShip are ready for inspection. Check with the inspector to see if they require any additional documents. You have invited a RightShip representative to board the vessel and inspect it using the RightShip Ship Inspection Questionnaire, RISQ. If the vessel isn't prepared, chances of a successful inspection are slim. It's important to do your utmost to get your vessel in a good place. Handing the masters a copy of the questionnaire won't quite cut it. The better prepared you are, the better your chances of success. So, we put together a video guide on how to prepare your vessel and mentor your crew for a RightShip inspection. The shore personnel of a ship management company are primarily responsible for preparing the ship for inspection. The optimal strategy is forming a group of experts from quality control, operations, technical, procurement, and finance. Examine each question and its related guideline to determine what action must be performed and by whom. Compare current practices to the RISQ requirements to provide a gap analysis. Some inquiries may necessitate procedural and document adjustments, in which case the quality assurance group should be consulted. Certain questions may necessitate budget allocation, such as purchasing equipment or spares, in which case the technical and procurement teams should be consulted. Some questions may necessitate the implementation of specific training, in which case the training department should be involved. Certain questions may necessitate the engagement of numerous team members and, on occasion, contact with various industry stakeholders. When the ship is presented for inspection without a comprehensive gap analysis, neither RightShip nor the ship's manager will be satisfied with the results. Please read each question carefully, take the required actions to implement it, and if you have any technical questions, please contact us at risq@rightship.com. Important note: RightShip is aware that there are organizations touting pre-RightShip inspection services for fees. Our advice is that competent managers have proven that they are more successful by their own staff leveraging the value and depth of information available with RISQ to directly undertake the review and gap assessment against the company SMS and actioning improvements to address gaps. This is designed to help you by providing clear and freely available guidance as part of RISQ for every question to support you and your personnel directly. Good day, Captain. The ship's entire crew should collaborate to prepare the vessel for inspection. If you do not involve your crew in ship inspection preparation, the outcomes of the inspection will likely be unsatisfactory. The amount of time the inspector spends on board depends on how effectively the crew has prepared themselves and the ship for inspection. Here are the key questions to ask. Do you have the most recent RISQ questionnaire? Have you scheduled a pre-inspection meeting with key personnel from the ship to discuss inspection preparation? Have you shared the relevant sections of the questionnaire with the department head and requested that they review the questions and guidelines to attain familiarity? Have you met with department heads to evaluate their readiness for the inspection? Have you asked the department head to prepare and make available all documents that will be evaluated during the inspection? Have the heads of each department tested the machinery and equipment that inspectors are likely to test to ensure that there is no concern? Give a good first impression. Professional personnel, clean and well-maintained personal protective equipment, tidy offices, a clear and structured filing system, and employee familiarity with the ship's file system and planned maintenance system are just a few factors that could provide an inspector a favorable picture of the ship and crew. In conclusion, 1. Ensure that you're using the most recent version of the RISQ. 2. Schedule a meeting with the head of departments and provide each of them with a copy of the RISQ section that relates to their area of responsibility. 3. Request that each head of the department study the inspection guidelines and prepare the ship for inspection in accordance with them. 4. Prior to the inspection, place any papers and records that the inspector will check in a convenient location, such as the master's office, the chief engineer's office, the ship's office, or the engine control room. 5. The inspector intends to see the operation of specific machinery, equipment, and instruments. Ensure that the personnel are knowledgeable about the safe operation and testing of equipment, machinery, and instruments according to the manufacturer's instructions. 6. Make sure your team interacts with the inspector in a professional and respectful manner throughout the inspection. The opening meeting should be attended by all key personnel. Inspectors will define the scope of their inspection, who they intend to accompany them, the equipment they intend to test, and the compartments they intend to inspect so that access can be made available. They will also discuss how they intend to address any findings. Be engaged in the opening meeting, ask questions, offer alternatives to the schedule if necessary, and make sure you understand the inspector's plan and expectations during the inspection. This video addresses the person on board the vessel who accompanies the inspector. It's important to ensure that everyone is wearing the correct personal protective equipment. You should also be familiar with the tests that inspectors are going to witness. Please bring all the compartment keys for the spaces that the inspector needs to access. Ensure that you have followed the company's safety procedures prior to entering any compartment or operating any equipment or machinery during the inspection. Your safety awareness will be judged by the inspector. If you do not want to test equipment or machinery that the inspector has requested to be tested, or if you do not want to open the compartment that the inspector has requested to be inspected, you will need to explain why. Pay attention and answer the inspector's questions. It is crucial that the crew communicates professionally with the inspectors. When an inspector makes a statement that you suspect to be inaccurate, you should question the inspector in a professional manner using relevant industry regulations, recommendations, and RISQ inspection guides. The inspector will share their findings with the person who accompanied them during the inspection. Please report the findings to the captain or department head immediately, so they can prepare to discuss them at the closing meeting. The inspection will be observing the person accompanying them, and any unsafe behavior performed by an accompanied person throughout a tour of the accommodation, deck, and machinery space may be included in the findings. If you observe an inspector engaging in unsafe behavior during the inspection, please encourage the inspector to adhere to onboard safety requirements. Maintain a friendly, calm, and professional environment during the closing meeting, regardless of how many findings the inspector wishes to document. The inspector will go over their findings. Please listen closely and ask questions where necessary. All findings are an opportunity to improve the vessel's safety, and the number of findings does not necessarily indicate the outcome from the inspection. Findings are not personal criticism and should not be taken personally. Share with the inspector any evidence that could lead to clarifying and removing a finding. If a finding is unclear or potentially ambiguous in its wording, please address this with the inspector and request that the language be adjusted. Accept the inspector's finding if it was based on inspection guidelines, industry recommendations, or regulations, and try not to prolong the closing meeting if the finding meets RightShip requirements. If the finding is not supported by an industry recommendation, regulation, or RISQ guidelines, professionally and calmly question the inspector and remind the inspector that RightShip requires all findings to be supported by an inspection guide, industry recommendations, or regulations. We encourage participants to avoid lengthy debates. If the inspector disagrees, you may contact RightShip at risq@rightship.com to share your concerns and supporting information via the ship's manager. We request that you do not negotiate or attempt to coerce the inspector to remove valid findings. Don't assume that because you've rectified findings the inspector noticed, they will overlook it and not report it. Using the findings supported by industry recommendations, regulations, or RISQ guidelines, RightShip will be able to make an accurate assessment of the ship's condition, operational standard, and the crew's familiarity with industry recommendations and regulations. The captain can communicate with the ship's manager and provide updates on the inspection's progress and findings. This may be helpful if the master cannot locate a document and wants to contact shore personnel for assistance. But the captain is ultimately responsible for the ship's inspection, and communication with the ship's manager or shore personnel must not delay the process. Digitally sign the list of findings, which will be sent as soon as inspectors get access to the Internet, which may be while still on board the ship. This video is important for everybody involved in the inspection process. All participants in a RightShip inspection, including inspectors, members of the ship's management, the captain, and crew members, must share, uphold, and promote ethical principles, conduct, and behavior. As participants in the RightShip inspection, everyone is obligated to uphold the highest ethical and professional standards throughout the inspection process. RightShip makes every effort to ensure that inspectors work in a safe environment and are treated with dignity by all parties. Inspectors are always urged to contact RightShip or their managers immediately by phone or email if they have a concern. RightShip inspectors and other participants are prohibited from engaging in unethical or unprofessional conduct. RightShip will not hesitate to implement disciplinary measures if an inspector fails to conform to the required high standards. These may include written warnings or suspension of inspectors' accreditation. Similarly, RightShip will not tolerate unethical behavior from ship managers and crews. The ship's crew is prohibited from offering, promising, giving, or seeking to offer a benefit in an attempt to influence the inspector's judgment. Such action could result in the falsification of inspection findings and/or reports, which is illegal, immoral, and a violation of trust, and could lead to the inspection outcome being unacceptable, and the imposition of other disciplinary measures against the ship or the ship management company.